that you're feeling. Over the last 12 months, we've seen food inflation at around 3%. We've seen auto insurance prices grow by around 6.5%. We've seen energy prices grow by around 7%, and we've seen coffee prices grow by around 12%. So yes, 2.7% might be the average inflation number, but
I ain't gonna lie, shout out my boy DAILY-PHREYZ-POV right here with the financial knowledge, but there's a specific video that I wanted to get into and just close this live stream with that. How about that, huh? A little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Just some don'ts, you know what I'm saying? Financial mistakes that people make that I believe a whole lot of people can learn from, you know what I'm saying? An exclusive from my boy DAILY-PHREYZ-POV, Minority Mindset. Damn, this nigga's already on 2.5 million subscribers. That's crazy. My boy Minority Mindset right here. Let's go.
like financing your extra guac on your visa. Some of these decisions are not going to be obvious, and I'm going to talk about 5 of them in this video, starting with number 1, not having a priority for your money. Babies have to crawl before they can walk, before they can run. When it comes to money, a lot of people are running before they even learn to crawl. In the financial world, if you have credit card debt or payday loans or high interest types of debt, you are in the crawl phase. And when you have this type of high interest debt, you should not be worried about trying to invest your money in the stock market. You should not be worried about trying to save a whole bunch of extra money. Your sole focus needs to be paying down this credit card debt. So, if you have high interest debts and you're worried about investing in stocks, your priorities are in the wrong place, the first thing you gotta do is pay down this credit card debt, because your credit card debt is gonna cost you 15, 20, 25, sometimes 28% a year in interest. When you invest your money in the stock market, well, the average stock market return is 10% a year. 10% is smaller than 20%, so pay off your credit card debt first and don't worry about doing all the other stuff. Crawl before you can walk. When it comes time for you to
that credit card debt shit is a real fucking burden. Fuck.
put aside in a separate bank account just to
If you really break shit down, bro, you could, yeah, damn, you could be avoiding a whole lot of problems, like just following this step right here. Whoa.
protect you against emergencies. There's not $2,000 for a car, $2,000 for a watch, or $2,000 for a security deposit. This is an extra $2,000 in case you lose your job, in case your kid breaks a leg, or in case your AC goes out. You have an extra $2,000 put aside just in case. If you don't have this $2,000 put aside, you should not be worried about investing in stocks. You should not be worried about trying to flip real estate or investing in real estate with zero money down. What you need to be focused on is saving this $2,000 as fast as possible. Work to save some more money by living smaller. Work to earn some extra money by working extra hours, but you gotta get this $2,000. And then when it comes time for you to run financially, this is now where you're actually acquiring assets. You're investing your money. And if you don't have any assets, listen, you don't gotta worry about asset protection. You don't gotta worry about building these tax strategies. You don't gotta worry about doing all this legacy stuff because you have no assets to protect yet. It's one of the funniest things when someone's got $44 in their bank account and they're talking about tax strategies and how they can pass down
Hey, man, you gotta start somewhere, bro. You gotta start somewhere. Start with the little that you got.
their wealth. You don't have any assets to pass down yet.
Okay, yeah, with the asset shit, obviously, it makes sense. I was just trolling right now.
So get the assets, then worry about the asset protection. Number 2 is thinking your credit score is what makes you rich. There's an entire industry of people,
Fuck, you see this one? I need to hear this.
especially on the internet, that love to sell you this idea of
Credit
how
score,
having
yeah.
an 800 credit score is going to open up the opportunity for you to build all this wealth. And
School me right
unfortunately,
quick, man.
this industry is selling primarily to poor people. People who don't have money, people that are struggling, and people that don't have a good credit score.
What the fuck? So the whole credit industry, like the whole credit game, and you know what I'm saying, people that play that whole thing, it's people that are living off of a lack. But then, you know what I'm saying, like, my question is then, like, these people that like encourage others to build credit score for the sake of purchasing assets that are gonna make them money, and then those assets are gonna pay off that credit that I used to get that asset, right? Because there's a strategy like that. I mean, how, like, doesn't that count for something?
Score. Here's the reality. Your credit score really does not matter. All it is
Doesn't
an
matter,
indication of how good you are in paying your bills, and it doesn't even do the best job at that. Your credit score is not an indication of how wealthy you are. Your credit score is not an indication of how many assets you own. Your credit score is not an indication of how much money you have in the bank. Your credit score is not an indication of what degree you have. Your credit score is not an indication of how good.
Because really, for a while, bro, I've been thinking, especially in my adult phase of life, I'm thinking, yo, we gotta focus on credit score, credit this, that, and the third. Literally, like, this is a revelation.
What your
right
job
now.
is, all your credit score tells you is how good you've been at paying off your bills. And again, it hasn't done the best job at even explaining that. That being said, can a better credit score help you? Potentially, but here's the part that so many people are doing wrong. Remember, this credit score helps people buy more debt. And if you're using this debt to buy liabilities, this doesn't do you any good. You got an 800 credit score, but all you're doing is working your job so you can pay off your car, so you can pay off your watch, so you can pay off your house, so you can pay off your fancy vacations. That 800 credit score shows you, hey, you're making your payments, but yeah, you're broke. This is where, yes, a better credit score can help you get a cheaper mortgage, but that's really it. If you want to go out and buy a car, buy it cash. Your car is a depreciating liability. It's gonna lose value as soon as you put the key.
I'm guessing buying assets with the credit, right?
Keys in the ignition. Your car is gonna need maintenance. Your car has a limited time span. So why pay interest on something that's losing you money? Buy a car with cash. Maybe you can't buy as nice of a car, but buy it with cash. You should not be using your credit score to finance your vacation to Cancun, and you should not be using your credit score to pay for your wardrobe. So, can your credit score help you when it comes to buying a house? Sure, but you don't need a good credit score in order to actually build wealth. Number 3 is living fake rich. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket.
Yeah.
A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. And Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, famously said that the majority of people are working to buy liabilities that they think are assets. And so what does that mean? The majority of people are trying to look rich. We want to have the big house, we want to have the nice car, because when you get the nice job, you want to show it off. Because you got a nice job, you got to have the BMW, you got to have the nice apartment, you got to have the nice penthouse, you got to have the nice big house with 4 bedrooms and 2 baths because you've earned it. But here's the reality. What you're doing many times is you're making everybody else rich except yourself. As soon as you make money, your money is going here. While what wealthy people want to do is they want to own the assets that are putting money in their pocket.
There we go.
Your BMW is not putting money in your pocket. You're putting money in BMW's pocket, and you're putting money in your bank's pocket. Your house, for many people, is not putting money in your pocket. You're putting money into your mortgage company's pocket. You're putting money into your insurance company's pocket. You're putting money into your property taxes pocket. You're putting money into the maintenance pocket. You're putting money into the utilities pocket. Month after month after month after month, and then you have to hope that your home is going to go up in value, and what we know is that houses don't always go up in value. I got my real estate salesperson's license almost a decade and a half ago now, and one of the things that you learn when you are a real estate salesperson is you want to learn how to sell a house. But what you're not selling is a house, you're selling a home. And more specifically, you're selling the biggest investment that most people will ever make. And when I can tell you that your home is one of the biggest and best investments you're ever gonna make, it's gonna be a little bit easier for you to buy a little bit bigger and a little bit nicer because you're buying an investment for your family. You're buying an investment to build that generational wealth, to finally own that house. And your mortgage banker is gonna tell you the exact same thing. This is an investment. Your house is gonna go up in value. It's gonna help you get rich, and it's going to help you have an asset that you can pay off and pass down to your kids. But the problem with that is, well, number one, if your house does go up in value, now your property taxes and insurance went up, so you have to make more money to make those payments. And if you don't have the salary to support the higher payments, well, you're stuck. As soon as you sign the paperwork, your mortgage banker and realtor are gone. They don't care if you make the payments or not. They just want to get their commission check, because once you sign the paperwork, they get paid. And not to mention, well, you have to pay for everything in the house for every month that you live in there, and then you have to hope that your home goes up in value. Now listen to me very carefully. I'm not against you buying a house. In fact, I think it's a very good thing for you to buy a house when you can afford it, but the key is to buy a house that you can afford. And that's why the rule that I like to follow is a very simple 75, 15, 10. Which says for every dollar that you earn from here on out, 75 cents is the maximum that you can spend. This is all the money that you can spend on your mortgage, on your groceries, on your vacations, on your clothing. And
so for $1, spend 75 cents. 15 cents is for investing. 10 cents save. See, at this point, we're talking principle. Keep that as a rule, as a principle in your head, and do that with any amount. Grow with that kind of mindset, and I feel like you have a snowball effect to like expanding your finances. Facts.
And everything in between. 15 cents is the minimum that you're investing of every dollar that you earn, and 10 cents is the minimum that you're saving of every dollar that you earn. That means you can only spend 3/4 of every dollar that you earn, and the other quarter you're investing into yourself by making yourself wealthy and by saving that money this way. Now you can work to actually build wealth for yourself. And if you can afford your house in this, then be my guest and buy that house that you can afford, because now you still have the money to invest. The mistake that so many people make is that people buy a big house thinking that this house is their investment. My investment is my mortgage payment. When in reality, that mortgage payment is just making your banker richer. Because what happens when you get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is for the first 15-ish years out of 30, more than half of your mortgage payment is going to be interest. So if your mortgage is $3,000 a month and you start the mortgage payment today, it's not half of your payment going to principal and half going to interest. If you look at an amortization calculator, what you'll see is that almost all of that $3,000 is going in interest on month 1 and month 2 and month 3. And it isn't until year 15 where half of your mortgage payment is going towards your principal balance and half is going to interest. And so these loans are front loaded, and if you refinance your mortgage, well, you start that process all over again. That's why I want you to understand how this works, and don't treat the house as an investment. Buy actual investments, rental properties, stocks, businesses as your investments. That way you can actually work to become wealthy, because a lot of people want to look rich. You're taking your money and you're buying that lifestyle. You got the nice car, you got the nice clothes, you got the nice house, but you have no actual wealth. I want you to actually become wealthy, that way you can have the freedom for yourself. Now, if you're an investor or want to become an investor, again, my team at Briefs Media publishes a free daily report called Market Briefs, where we break down, join in the bank, and now you want to be protectionary of it. You want to protect that money at all costs. So you don't want to get rid of that money, you don't want to spend it, but sometimes you not spending money can be more expensive than you actually spending that money, because when you don't want to spend that money, you don't want to pay somebody else when you can have your own time. I see this so much in real estate. If you were to go out and invest in a rental property, you could be the one that manages the property. Because now when the tenant has an issue, yeah, you could take the phone call and deal with the issue. You can be the one to make sure the bills get paid. You can be the one to make sure the property taxes get paid. But I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to manage my properties. I want to be an investor. And this is where I pay to have a property manager. Now this property manager is going to have a fee. They're going to take a percentage of your rents every single month. And a lot of real estate investors will say, why the heck would I pay a property manager 8% of my rents, 10% of my rents, 12% of my rents? That's money that I can keep in my pocket. It's just a little bit of time every single month. I can just deal with it myself. But now you're not valuing your time, and then you're never going to be able to scale, because if you have a few more properties, well, you are spending all of your time managing, and you're not going to want to scale to the next deal, because you're going to be fed up with dealing with tenants and dealing with the headache and dealing with the problems. Managing is very different than owning. I want you to be an owner, that way you can work to build that wealth. Maybe that's with mowing your lawn. You don't want to pay somebody to get that hour back every single week. Maybe it's for cleaning. Maybe it's for driving you around. Maybe it's for helping to cook food. That way you can save some of your time. Maybe it's you investing that money into your own mind, because you say, you know what, I worked so hard to save up these few $1,000s, this $5,000, this $10,000. I don't want to invest this money into a book or a class or some research reports or to whatever, because if I spend $500, that's $500 that leave my bank account. But if you can invest in your mind, you spending $500 could help you earn $5,000, maybe $5,000 a month, depending on what you're learning. But you have to be willing to invest in your own mind. That way you can learn how you can grow your mindset, because a lot of people have this scarcity mindset.
I feel like a whole lot of people have the mistake of thinking that investment only involves money and financials. You feel what I'm saying? You can invest in your own self by, you know what I mean? Just like the attention that you put on yourself, the opportunities that you allow yourself to have, the opportunities you create for yourself. You feel what I'm saying? The energy that you allow yourself to like engage with. You understand what I'm saying? The people that you allow yourself to talk with, socialize with. You feel what I'm saying? Relationships that you establish, bro. All of that falls into like the way that you invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? That all speaks to like the quality of the investment that you've placed in yourself. feel what I'm saying? It's not all about just like financials and money. And you feel me?
Because what happens if markets crash? What happens if I pick a bad investment? And that's obviously a concern. Investing is risky. You're never guaranteed to make money when you invest. You will lose money at some point, which is why you need to make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. But here's the thing, when you save your money in the bank, you're guaranteed to lose. Because if you're earning 0.5% a year, even 3% a year.
So you gotta choose the lesser evil.
Because if you're earning 3, but here's the thing, when you save your money in the bank, you're guaranteed to lose. Because if you're earning 0.5% a year, even 3% a year, you're still losing money. Because if you're earning 3% a year in a high yield savings account, the first thing is you got to pay taxes on that money. So you're really not netting 3% a year. And now you have to factor in inflation. And you might say, well, even after taxes, Jaspreet, I'm earning more than 2% a year on my savings, so I'm beating inflation. But remember, the 2-ish% inflation numbers that we're seeing is the reported inflation numbers. That doesn't mean it's the real inflation that many people are feeling, because the real inflation that a lot of people are feeling are higher than the actual reported numbers. Which is why when you save your money, even in a high yield savings account, you're guaranteed to lose. Now when you invest your money, you can lose. You can lose every dollar that you invest. But you have the potential to gain money as well. And if you just invest your money into something simple, like say the total stock market or the S&P 500, which is a group of the 500 largest companies in the stock market, and yes, there are funds that allow you to do this. You don't have to go out and invest in every single company. I'll show you exactly what I mean. There are funds like VTI that give you exposure to the total stock market, and SPY they give you exposure to the S&P 500. Now, I'm not recommending that you go out and buy these. I can't do that because I'm just a random guy on YouTube. But what I'm saying is, if you just wanted to invest your money in the stock market for the long term, this has been proven to win over the long term. Now, this doesn't guarantee that you're always going to make money. In fact, we've seen a lot of recessions in the past. We've seen a lot of market crashes in the past. We're going to continue to see market crashes. We're going to continue to see recessions. But history tells us that in the long term, markets go up. Now, could that be wrong in the future? Sure, yeah, maybe. But that's what history has told us. But you'll never have the opportunity to see the potential upside if you never invest your money. And then the fifth dumb thing that you can do is invest like you're in Las Vegas. Investing your money, like I just talked about, is a slow but almost guaranteed way to build wealth over the long term. Not over 6 months, not over 5 years, but over 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It has been proven, and it's a pretty sure way, not 100%, but a pretty sure way to build wealth. But a lot of people look at that and say, well, Jaspreet, I don't want to wait 30, 40 years to build my wealth. I wonder if there's something sooner. And if you're getting started and you don't have a lot of investing experience, you're going to start Googling different ways that you can start investing money, how to grow your money faster. And now you're going to start learning about these other opportunities that can double your money in 6 months and get you these 1,000% returns. Maybe you start investing in pink sheets, meaning penny stocks. Maybe you start day trading. Maybe you start looking into options. Maybe you start trading meme stocks. Maybe you start trading these hot cryptocurrencies that have the potential to pop off. It's these super speculative investments, which, yeah, they can have a small piece in a regular person's portfolio, but what I've seen happen for a lot of smaller, younger, getting started investors is their entire portfolio is 100% speculative because we don't like the idea of waiting 30 or 40 years to see wealth happen. So instead, let me just try to YOLO my money into these dumb investments and hope for the best. And now what ends up happening is you hope you're gonna get rich quick. You end up losing all of your money and you never build wealth. So you gotta decide. Do you want to have the rush and excitement and never build wealth? Or do you want to have the long-term sustainable wealth, not have the rush and the excitement, but actually have the potential to build real wealth with much less risk? And a lot of people take the first option, they get burned, they hate investments, and then they say, I never want to invest my money again. But this is weird. If you really want to build wealth, you can take the fast and exciting route and test it out, and when you get burned, remember that the other route, the way that you actually become wealthy by long-term investing, is there, but you have to be willing to stick with it and go through the ups and downs and keep learning. That way it can work to grow your returns and get potentially a little bit better returns, but being smart with your investments is how you get there. Again, if you want some additional resources, you can check out Market Briefs. I have that link for you down in the description. President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law. This big bill will bring some big changes to
Yeah. Fat lady sings, I see the writing on the walls. I mean, back to the sin, cause it was pride before the fall. And now the demons grin, there's no temptation too tall, so it's forever. Yeah, imagination that shifted realities, till paradigms shift into shades you ain't never seen. Was once excited for all this, now I ain't trying to be seen. Forever. Cause this mind is straight chatter, but I can barely say something. Feel like shit don't matter, so beware the fun cutting. It's volumes of demise, I hear the sound buzzing. So when she said she wanna die, and he sees she ain't bluffing, so he held her to the skies. Cries, sour momentum, passive with goodbyes. I'd rather you tell him, but now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings. So it's forever though. Like my mama's son missing, ain't no telling, do they love or did they kill him? The dominoes have fallen, we can't go back to beginning. This existential crisis, the reason I cannot keep competing and keep on living. So it's back against the world, seeing all your value once you dealt with all the dirt. Backing up slowly from these diamonds and pearls, quote unquote. I mean, fat lady sings, I see the writing on the walls. I mean, back to the sin, cause it was pride before the fall. And now it's just over. Yeah. Fat lady sings, I see the writing on the walls. I mean, back to the sin, cause it was pride before the fall. And now the demons grin, there's no temptation too tall, so it's forever. Yeah, imagination that shifted realities, till paradigms shift into shades you ain't never seen. Was once excited for all this, now I ain't trying to be seen. Forever. Cause this mind is straight chatter, but I can barely say something. Feel like shit don't matter, so beware the fun cutting. It's volumes of demise, I hear the sound buzzing. So when she said she wanna die, and he sees she ain't bluffing, so he held her to the skies. Cries, sour momentum, passive with goodbyes. I'd rather you tell him, but now the truth is I've digressed from all the feelings. So it's forever though. Like my mama's son missing, ain't no telling, do they love or did they kill him? The dominoes have fallen, we can't go back to beginning. This existential crisis, the reason I cannot keep competing and keep on living. So it's back against the world, seeing all your value once you dealt with all the dirt. Backing up slowly from these diamonds and pearls, quote unquote. I mean,